Wow, okay. I wanted to go over this video because I do see some comments out there as far as how the Whittaker family got to this point. I'm very interested in genealogy when it comes to family trees and whatnot. I think it's very interesting. I do think when it comes to genealogy, certain ethnicities and races of humans are easier to track than others. I would just say that when it comes to exactly the live and die date of ancestors and things like that. As we know, a lot has gone on in America when it comes to the landscape of what we have in America right now. So not everybody is as fortunate to have the information that we have with this family, but I still think it's interesting. So I'm gonna go through this video and yeah, just try to keep up. Some of the longtime Whittaker's family followers, they already know this information, but I'm still seeing comments about it. So I wanted to do a video about it to kind of clarify things as far as the family and the inbreeding that people talk about, to know exactly how we got to this point we are at now. So the video we're going to be watching is from a channel called Mortal Faces, which does some a lot of genealogy type content. And yeah, let's start from there. It's a lot. It's a lot. Let me just say that.
Here's the Whittaker's family. At the bottom, we can see Lorraine, Timmy, Betty, Ray, Larry, and Kenneth. But I'm going to start at the top and then work our way down. The earliest Whittaker ancestor I could find was Joseph Musgrave Whittaker I, who came to America in 1755 as a newborn. Both his parents, we don't know their last names, but their first names were Charles and Rosie Ann. Charles and Rosie Ann were from London, England. Charles was born in 1705 and christened at Holy Trinity the Less in London, while Rosie Ann was born in 1725. When Charles was 50 and Rosie Ann was 30, they departed for America. Joseph was born on the ship, but during their voyage, the parents died. Baby Joseph was now an orphan. We don't know if he was traveling with other family who adopted him, or if they had friends, or if a random stranger from the boat adopted him, but somebody did because he survived and settled in Wythe, Virginia, and died in 1838, aged 8.
So Joseph Musgrave Whittaker, the picture that just went off of the screen, that's where this all starts from. That's the single person in which this whole family tree is based off of. I don't know how versed the audience is on family tree. I'm not that very versed at it, so this is why I had to do this video in this way, because I understand the latter half of the family tree, and I could have did it without this video, just doing from John Emory and Gracie Irene, as you see on the screen. I could have did it from there and just talked about it on the screen how I usually do, but I wanted to do a full breakdown of the family tree, so I chose to do it like this. Let's go.
And settled in Wythe, Virginia, and died in 1838, aged 83.
Joseph Musgrave Whittaker is who they're talking about at the top.
With 11 children and a wife named Zobedia Obedience. Since we don't know his parents' last names, the surname Whittaker could have been given to him by his adoptive parents, or maybe Whittaker was his true family name. We don't know. One of Joseph Whittaker the first sons was James Harvey Whittaker Sr., born in 1778. And he died in 1864, aged 86. He got married and had about 11 or 12 children, and one of his sons was James Jr. in 1816. He married Pamela, and they had Thomas Willis Whittaker, who died.
Okay, so Joseph had James Jr., and they had Thomas Willis Whittaker, who died in 1892. That's where we're at. Still no inbreeding at this point. I just wanted to point that out.
Died in 1892. From Thomas, this is where the interesting entanglement happens. Thomas married Elizabeth Perkins, the daughter of James and Lucy Perkins. Elizabeth had a sister, Mary, who married Samuel Riggs. They had 6 other siblings, but we're going to focus on these 2. Mary and Samuel had children of their own, and 2 of them were Macy and Ada, both sisters.
So, Macy and Ada. This is where things get a little interesting. With them being sisters. Now listen.
Married into the Whittaker family to 2 of the children of Thomas and Elizabeth. So their mother-in-law, Elizabeth, was also their aunt.
Boom, right there. And I want to stop it. Because you really got to pay close attention to the amount of inbreeding that's going on.
From Thomas, this is where the interesting entanglement happens. Thomas married Elizabeth Perkins, the daughter of James and Lucy Perkins. Elizabeth had a sister, Mary, who married Samuel Riggs. They had 6 other siblings, but we're going to focus on these 2. Mary and Samuel had children of their own, and 2 of them were Macy and Ada, both sisters married into the Whittaker family to 2 of the children of Thomas and Elizabeth. So their mother-in-law, Elizabeth, was also their aunt.
Can you call it like second level inbreeding that I guess happened at first? I don't know, but then you get John Isom or Isom Whittaker, James Thomas Whittaker, and Macy. Let's continue because it's very, you really gotta watch close. You know, I'm not a genealogy specialist or anything like that. So you know, I'm some of y'all out there might not be as well. So I'm watching this with y'all, and I've watched it plenty times before, but it's kind of hard to wrap your brain around exactly the depth of inbreeding that has happened in this family.
Thomas married Elizabeth Perkins, the daughter of James and Lucy Perkins. Elizabeth had a sister, Mary, who married Samuel Riggs. They had 6 other siblings, but we're going to focus on these 2. Mary and Samuel had children of their own, and 2 of them were Macy and Ada, both sisters married into the Whittaker family to 2 of the children of Thomas and Elizabeth.
Okay.
So their mother-in-law, Elizabeth, was also their aunt. With these 7 children from Thomas and Elizabeth, the 2 twin boys, Henry and John, are the ones we want to focus on.
Yes. Okay. It's starting to make sense, and I'm playing it back, and I'm going back because the first time I watched this, I was completely. So it's starting to make some sort of sense as far as their aunt, them marrying into the family to people that were already into family. So
both were born in 1882. John married Ada Riggs, and Henry married another girl, Sarah Burton. Then each of the twin boys and their wives had a family of their own. And it's these 2 families that come together again with Betty and her siblings. Henry and Sarah's 5th child was John Emory Whittaker in 1913. And
so this is where I think it gets a little more simplified right here. Where you see Henry Wade and John Isom Whittaker, they're brothers who didn't have kids in the family, but after they had their each respective family branches, John Emory Whittaker and Gracie, their first cousins, as you see the lines connecting John and Gracie. And from that tree is what we basically see in the Whittaker household right now. So I'll let it play out just a little more.
John and Ada's 6th child was Gracie Irene Whittaker in 1920. Both were paternal first cousins, sharing the same grandparents, Thomas and Elizabeth, but also.
So from John Emory Whittaker and Gracie Irene Whittaker, them having these kids below them, below the 2 boxes of John and Gracie, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 kids that they had, and they were first cousins that shared grandparents. I don't care if you think, far as how I'm breaking it down in my shortfalls of comprehension with this family tree, This is not easy, you know. So give me some grace, people, please. Golly.
Both
On the
were
right.
paternal first cousins, sharing the same grandparents, Thomas and Elizabeth, but also second cousins sharing the same great-grandparents, James and Lucy.
First cousins, John and Gracie's first cousins sharing grandparents,
but also second cousins sharing the same great-grandparents,
second cousins sharing the great grandparents. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. And this is one of the biggest reasons why I think this family is so interesting. Like this, it's almost like the culture of the inbreeding in this family. Like that was just a part of it. Started from Joseph Musgrave at the top, you know, settling in West Virginia, coming from London, England, and all of this. Just imagine the amount of years, and look at the years on here. But all of this, starting just from him, who would have like, and to go a deeper level, look at the top, Charles and Rosie at the very, very top on the right. You see Charles, and then there's unknown. They didn't know his last name. 1705. A 30-year-old with a 15-year-old. Now I know, you know, when it comes to that, it's one of those cultural type things, and you know, you look in the Bible, you look in different places within ancient history, and that was not as taboo as it is now, but that is where it all started from. That was Charles and Rosie who came over on a ship from London, England, and had Joseph that started all of this.
Henry and Sarah's fifth child was John Emory Whittaker in 1913, and John and Ada's sixth child was Gracie Irene Whittaker in 1920. Both were paternal first cousins, sharing the same grandparents, Thomas and Elizabeth, but also second cousins sharing the same great-grandparents, James and Lucy.
First cousins sharing same grandparents, second cousins sharing the same great-grandparents.
According to Larry, their dad John was a coal miner and could be mean sometimes and give a spanking when they got in trouble. He would walk to work every day and people would give him rides coming home. He got hurt in the mines one time and it messed up his back. According to Betty, their mom was rough on the girls. She wouldn't even let them go on dates. When their mom, Gracie, was 44, she got sick. She had heart trouble and cancer, so she had difficulty standing. And this is when Betty began to take on more responsibilities at home, after school, and take care of the others. She promised her mom she would never get married and always look after her siblings. John and Gracie brought their family genes back together with their 15 children. Eileen Violet died when she was 60. She was a homemaker and died from a heart attack, but she did have a son, Frankie, and 2 grandchildren when she passed in 1997. Then there's Emory Whittaker. He died 3 months old from pneumonia. Barbara died when she was 68. She was a homemaker and member of the Baptist Church in Odd, West Virginia. She enjoyed going to church, picnics, and spending time with her family. Based on her photo, it is possible that she inherited a disorder like her siblings, but she was married and widowed. The fourth child was Nanny.
And Barbara, I think he went further in with Barbara on his, I don't know if it's this video or not, but she was nonverbal.
Lou, born in 1942, but we don't know when she died. All we know is that she was buried in Hannah Lily Cemetery, West Virginia, and she was married. Connie's next. We don't know much about Connie or her birth date, nor if she passed. All I know is that she was probably an older sister born after Nanny, but I don't know if she was born before or after Freddie. She was married with her husband James. The sixth child was Freddie. He was the one that Mark and the family mentioned in his video. He passed in 2013 and is this man in the popular Whittaker photo alongside Ray and Timmy, taken in 2004. The seventh child was Lorraine, the quietest one of the bunch. She was born in 1946 and is 76 years old as of 2022. She unfortunately was assaulted in her 30s, resulting in her son, Timmy, which makes Timmy the nephew of Betty and the rest of the gang. He was born in 1979. Mary Madeline is next. She died at 10 months old. And then there's John Wade, born in 1950 and died this year in 2022, age 71, following a long battle of lung cancer. He was a helpful man, ready to help his neighbors, and he also enjoyed planting and gardening. He was married to Rosemary, and together they had 5 boys: Carl, Wayne, Jeremy, John, and Jason. His son Jason could be the same Jason that Mark and Betty mentioned, went to prison and left his little dog in the care of Betty. John also had several grandchildren and 1 great-grandson. Betty is their 10th.
And Jason, I think he did have an interview on Soft White Underbelly at one point in time. I think he was like posing on a Harley or some type of bike, and he was in the woods. And a lot of people did not like that interview, I do remember.
Betty is their 10th child, and she was born in 1952, which makes her 70 in 2022. And then her younger brother was Ray, one of our favorites. He was born in 1953. He is 69. Larry, he along with Kenneth, were the 2 new Whittakers introduced in Mark's 2022 videos. Larry, who is 66 as of this year, lives in the trailer across the street where the family's childhood home.
And that's the picture of the trailer that was burned down by mysterious circumstances, and they don't have it on the family tree. But yes, Betty is Larry's daughter. That's BJ, as we know now. BJ, I think she had 5 or 6 kids. One of them is the one that Eric talks about. He met at Little Caesars working fast food. Brandon, and the other one, I cannot remember his name to save my life, but it was another one. He has been on camera as well. And Brandon has had some drug issues. I don't know too much about Betty's kids, but yeah, this video was not done. The information was not out there at this point in time when Mortal Faces made this video, but salute to Mortal Faces for making this video. He did come back with a update, and he had some more branches, but we're not going to really go over that.
Used to be before it fell down. He was married, but not anymore, and he has a daughter also named Betty. After Larry comes Kenneth, born in 1957, and is 65. He was married to a woman named Amber, but then got divorced. He has a stepdaughter as well. Kenneth moved into the newly built house beside his brothers and sisters, but ran out of money to finish the drywall. Both him and Larry help take care of Ray, Timmy, and Irene alongside Betty, but he does work. One of his previous jobs was cutting timber and working in the country club.
And Kenneth, he still does work. He's actually, I guess, pretty high functioning. A couple weeks ago, Eric went over to the house and he's like, "Where's Kenny?" He's like, "Oh, he's at work." I think Betty's, "Oh, he's at work." You know, so Kenneth actually is. There are some members of the family who are high functioning, but as you see, when it comes to the inbreeding that happened, there was 15 children, and there's a reason why there's only a certain there's a reason why Larry, Betty, Ray, Timmy, and Lorraine are the only living at this point. And that inbreeding and those genetics, it's just not like, that's not what God meant. That's not what God set it up to be. You talk about, if you want to go back in ancient times, you can go to ancient Egypt for one. You could go to Greece, Rome, ancient Rome, and you talk about these kingdoms and people having the mindset of keeping it in the family to keep the same bloodline. That may be reason why some of these kingdoms failed, is because of the inbreeding that was going on. The genetics, God did not set it up. You know, the universe did not set it up for this to be the way. The genes, they just did not hold up. But let me get out my soapbox. We're going to keep on going.
He does the cooking in the evening while Betty does breakfast. The youngest daughter was Judy. She was born in 1959 and died in 2021, age 62. She was married to Arnold Accord, who passed away in 2014, and she lived down the street from Betty and the gang. She had 7 children, 4 boys, 3 girls, and many grandchildren. Finally, we have Michael Stephen, or
And one thing I did notice when I watched this was when you look at the grandchildren, you see on the left, far left, it says Janice K. Whittaker, 2024, sister-in-law, maybe wife of Larry or Kenneth or Stephen. You see under John Wade Whittaker. I'm curious as to John Wade Whittaker and those 5 children. I'm curious as to the grandchildren from them. I'm curious as to one great-grandson of John Whittaker. None of these people have, to my knowledge, anybody can correct me. And let me just put this out there. When I'm doing this, this is to my knowledge, and this is me just watching this video multiple times and trying to get a grasp of what's going on. This is not the average thing here. So at the end of the day, if I made a mistake during the video, please get in the comment section and correct me. I'm very open to correction. I'm not, what I say is not the end all be all. I'm just like everybody else. I'm just trying to comprehend this as I best can do. So I just wanted to put that out there.
D.V. Whittaker. He was born in 1950 or 1960 and then died in 2001. To end this family tree, there's one woman, Janice Whittaker, who died in 2004. If you watched Mark's videos on the Whittakers, Mark mentions that he met the Whittakers in 2004 when he was doing his book, and they were having a funeral for someone. He said possibly an aunt. Well, it turns out Janice was the sister-in-law to the family born.
And this, I'm not sure about. I think when Mortal Faces redid his video, this was one of his corrections that he made on this. With all the knowledge that he does have, I think he did. There was maybe 1 or 2 corrections that he made on this, and there was a lot added in. But yeah, I just wanted to do this, to shed light on how deep the inbred, the culture of it goes. There's that stereotype of, people from these types of areas that this goes on. If you go to New York City and you hear some of the narratives that go along, it is a stereotype that this does happen out here in these woods when it comes to the inbreeding and all of that. And that's not really I'm not here to do that. It's, to me, it's generally a human interest story. I'm very interested in genealogy, even geography and things of the sorts. And that's kind of why I latched on to this. But like I said at the beginning, I do want to end up doing a live stream. Let me know in the comment section if you would want to be a part of something like that. I'm going to put my email account on the screen right now. And if you want to be a part of that, you can either, when I do it or if I do it, pull up, whatever. But I'm going to put my email account inside or on the video right now. If you want to email me anything that you don't want to put in the comment section as far as the live stream goes. And if you want to be a part of it, email me, let me know. And if you're not computer savvy, I will definitely walk you through it. Because if you have a cell phone, you can talk with me live here on these YouTube streets. So, yeah, YJ, I'm up out of here. This actually went way longer than I thought, but yeah, I'll catch y'all on the next one.